Please come to order. Good evening and welcome. I am Randy Guy, President of Commissioners of St. Mary's County. Before I introduce the other commissioners, I ask that you turn your cell phones off or on vibrate. I better check mine. Sitting to my right, representing the 1st Commissioner District, which includes Ridge, Piney Point, St. George's Island, Mr. Eric Colvin.
Good evening.
Representing the 2nd Commissioner District, which includes Leonardtown, Hollywood, Mr. Mike Hewitt.
Good evening.
John O'Connor, who represents the 3rd Commissioner District, which includes Charlotte Hall, 7th District, Golden Beach, Mechanicsville, is joining us via Zoom. John, you on?
Good evening.
Okay. Sitting to my left, representing the 4th Commissioner District, which includes Lexington Park, some of California, Great Mills, and some of Hollywood, Mr. Todd Morgan.
Good evening.
Sitting at the table to my left is David Weiskopf, our acting county attorney, administrator. I'm sorry, he is the county attorney. He's acting county administrator right now.
Evening.
And on my right here, Lisa Cassis, our communications director, is sitting at the table to my right.
Good evening.
Amy Carter, our video media producer, is behind the glass, broadcasting live tonight. At this time, we have a couple of, we'd like to go ahead and get a couple of motions out of the way before we go on. And I think Mr. Eric Colvin's got the first one.
All right, I move to approve acting capacity pay for Gary Whipple, Deputy Director of Public Works and Transportation, in accordance with the St. Mary's County Government Manual of Personnel Policies and Procedures, and authorize Commissioner President Guy to sign the related documents.
Second.
We have a first and second. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any nays? No nays? Ayes have it. Motion 2, I move to approve acting capacity pay for the county attorney and the director of human resources in accordance with the St. Mary's County Manual of Personnel Policies and Procedures, and authorize Commissioner President to sign the related documents.
Second.
I have a first and second. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Ayes have it. Motion 3.
I move to approve converting the part-time hourly assistant county attorney to a full-time benefited assistant county attorney position, and authorize the Commissioner President to sign the related documents.
Second.
I have a first and second. All in favor?
Aye.
Any disapprovals? Ayes have it. Thank you all very much, Commissioners. Next, Ms. Cassis will now provide the format for tonight's public forum.
Thank you, Commissioner
Lisa, you have
President.
it.
Thank you, Commissioners. Here are the guidelines for the Commissioners of St. Mary's County Public Forum. For those unable to join us in person but wishing to address the Commissioners, please call 301-475-4200, extension 1234, to provide your name and address for the record. You will then be given an opportunity to speak to the Commissioners through the phone conference. Those wishing to speak in person should sign up on the sheet located in the lobby of the Chesapeake Building at 41770 Baldrige Street in Leonardtown. All speakers are allotted 3 minutes to address the Commissioners. At the end of the 3 minutes, I will let you know your time has expired. We do ask that you respect the time for 3 minutes in order to give all those who wish to participate an opportunity to be heard. This public forum is being televised live on St. Mary's County Government TV 95 and also on the county's YouTube channel. If you should miss any part of this hearing, it will re-air on Channel 95 this Saturday, January 15th at 8 p.m. and will remain available for on-demand viewing on the St. Mary's County Government YouTube channel. Citizens were also provided an opportunity to address the Commissioners via video submissions, but because we did not receive any video submissions for the public forum, we will first read an email statement that was sent to the Commissioners with the specific request that it be read aloud tonight. Commissioners, this is an email that was received into the Commissioners of St. Mary's County email from Dale Antosh, President of the Golden Beach Patuxent Knolls Civic Association. Good evening, Commissioners, and Happy New Year to you all. This has been a very trying year for us all, for sure, but I want to express my gratitude for all the hard work you have done for our county this year. I know that up here in the northern end, things are relatively quiet compared to other areas of the county, and we prefer it that way. We have less development because of good decisions being made by all of you, and it is much appreciated by the northern communities. We are the gateway to our county, and we hope that keeping it rural stays in your minds as we continue in 2022. Good, well-planned development is what everyone wants, and we hope that continues. Thank you for all that you do. In conclusion, I want to make you aware of a great job SMECO did for our community during the last storm. We saw over 10 inches of snowfall in our areas. Even though some of us were out of electricity for over 2 days, they were on the job in the cold, cutting trees, repairing down lines, and restoring our electricity. They did an awesome job. Once again, Commissioners, thank you for all you do, and looking forward to working with you all in the coming year. Stay safe. Sincerely, Dale Antosh. Thank you, Commissioners. We will now begin accepting comments from those who have signed up in person to speak. We would now invite Dina Kilgore to come to the microphone, state your name and address for the record. And since everyone's wearing masks, please remember to step as close to the microphone as you're able to. Thank you.
Good evening, County Commissioners. My name is Dina Kilgore. I reside at 21397 Aaron Place in Lexington Park, Maryland. I'm a Navy veteran and spouse to a retired Navy veteran, and a mother to 2 Marines and a daughter working for a defense contractor. In many years of PCS moves, we found ourselves transplanted to beautiful St. Mary's County. Over the years, we had the opportunity to meet many of you at county functions and events. And although you may not remember us, we voted for you knowing of your commitment and fairness to this county and its residents. We've met some wonderful people, both by county and transplant, that we consider family. We fell in love with this county so much that we decided to set roots here and purchase our first home 12 years ago. We took time finding our home, spending months making certain that we didn't have just floor plans that we agreed upon, but also a community that would provide a great neighborhood and an area to enjoy. Unfortunately, things have changed in the last year that have made us begin doubting our decisions. So today I've come here to bring this matter to your attention, a matter that should not have escalated to this board in the first place, but a matter that we hope will be reconsidered and resolved in a positive manner. Before I go on, I want you to know that due to, of course, these increased cases of COVID, that myself and my fellow neighbors wanted to respect your health and the health of others here who attended this meeting. Therefore, we've only invited a few members of our community here tonight to allow true data, but be rest assured that our community stands behind us here tonight. As a group of homeowners, we're very sorry that we've even had to bring this to your attention, but we felt you deserved the opportunity to hear the facts and reverse the decision made. You may recall a matter presented to this board in April 2021 regarding residential streets parked within the Southwoods Estates development located just south of NAS Pax River. The matter was initiated by one street that came towards this board, and you tabled that depending on a survey of homeowners and a measurement to ensure the development met certain standards. It was later voted by this board to enforce no parking based upon the results of that information. Unfortunately, that information was provided by a member of our HOA that was prejudiced and presented incomplete and misleading information, possibly for her own personal gain. Our HOA board put very little effort into providing notice to our homeowners on this issue, their intentions or any other information regarding the street parking matter, nor did they provide this board with an accurate depiction of the situation, which has now had a huge and negative impact on my community. After coming home to no parking signs in our yards, many of them directly in the middle of our yards, many residents began seeking understanding and clarification as to what happened and to develop a plan to resolve this issue. A group of us began to look into the matter and discovered that contrary to what our HOA board would have you believe, many residents were not aware of the situation, nor were they aware of a survey. Many of us have not received communications from Blackstone Management except for notices of our annual due. We decided to conduct our own survey and went door to door, speaking to our neighbors one-on-one, and discovered that 41 out of 56 homes that were there when we could actually get to talk with them do not want these parking signs. They want them
your
removed.
time has expired. Would you please wrap up your remarks? Thank you.
We do recognize this is an issue within our community, but we hope that the information that we provided you tonight with the street measurements and the survey data by Mr. Heath Russell that will be presented later will be looked at and to assist you in making a decision to reverse and have the parking signs removed. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you for your service. We now invite Connie Hempel to the microphone. Please remember to state your name and address for the record.
Hi, my name is Connie Hempel. I live at 21389 Hawkbit Court, and I am here regarding the no parking street signs in our community. I am against having them put up. I would like to yield the rest of my time to Joshua Vandersmissen.
We invite Joshua Vandersmissen to the microphone, sir.
Evening, Commissioners. My name is Joshua Vandersmissen. I reside at 21338 Foxglove Court in Lexington Park, Maryland. I am also against the signs, and I would like to speak to the survey that you received the first time around from the HOA president. You were presented, I believe the numbers that you received were 6 for and 6 against. The survey that went out the results of the survey that went out to the homeowners said that 18 people had voted, and that it was actually 9 for, 9 against. Once we spoke with the HOA management company and actually had the unredacted real results of the survey, it turned out 20 people had voted, that it was 6 for the signs and 14 against. So that is why we decided to go ahead and do our own research. We did our face-to-face surveys. We went out and touched base with all 77 homes that are in the residence. The ones that were not home or did not answer, we left cards for them to be able to vote online, which we did get a few votes. The rest we spoke to in person and got the results. And again, it was 41 people that do not want the signs and 10 people that were for the signs. So clearly the signs are not warranted or wanted in the community. And I hope that this shows that the real research was done and that you have a better understanding of what was going on out there. Thank you.
Do you have a petition or something that's been signed by people?
The results of the survey, we wrote down all the addresses. We had them fill out yes or no if they wanted them, their name, and we had them date and sign it. And I believe a copy of all that was provided to.
This the data you're talking about?
No. There they are.
You got a copy of it there?
No, just so
No,
you have
Just
it.
make sure we have it. We heard something absolutely different.
Okay.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you.
I'm glad you're here. I'm glad. Connie Hempel, I know you too. Good.
Thank you, sir. We now invite Latrice Batts to the microphone. Please remember to state your name and address for the record.
Good evening. My name is Latrice Batts. I reside at 21380 Dayflower Place, Lexington Park, Maryland. My husband and I have been living there for 15 years. Our first experience with Kim, she's the HOA president, was when she parked her car in front of our driveway because she claimed we were blocking hers. I offered to have a conversation with her, but she chose to sit in her window instead of coming to the door. She called the police and they made her move her vehicle, and he also demonstrated that she was able to get out of her driveway. Kim was denied the no parking sign on Dayflower Place, which was a personal issue, and then she turned it into a community issue. When she was denied, I feel that she has abused her power to make this a community issue. My husband and I vote to have the signs removed because we have 5 adult daughters, and they have vehicles, and we also have visitors. In closing, the person who started the petition has since moved away. I would like to yield the rest of my time to any other speaker for Southwoods.
Thank you, ma'am. So just to clarify, if we may, you each have 3 solid minutes to speak. If you want to yield your time, what would happen is the timer would continue counting, and then that person behind you would receive their 3 minutes. So just to confirm, thank you very much. We now invite Mr. David Batts Jr. to the microphone. Please remember to state your name and address for the record, and also step as close to the microphone as you're able, please.
I decline to speak, my wife.
Okay. You don't want to speak, sir? Okay. Thank you, sir. We appreciate it. We now have signed up to speak Mr. Brian Kilgore.
Good evening. My name is Brian Kilgore. I live at 21397 Aram Place in Lexington Park. I and my fellow neighbors do not want these signs as they preclude residents from having guests, clients, or service vehicles visit their homes, just to name a few restrictions. We have no community center, no parking lot, or other means to place cars, So residents have resorted to parking in their yards or utilizing driveways in manner that block the sidewalks for pedestrians. Others have simply notified friends and family that they cannot come to the homes. Hopefully, we'll give you enough data tonight to reverse the decision. Thank you. I yield my time.
Thank you, sir. Appreciate it. We now
I'll say in 12 years, no one has ever yielded their time, so this is a new experience for me. So
Thank you, Commissioner Morgan.
you're welcome. I'm trying to smile there.
Great, thank you. We now invite Connie White to the microphone. Please remember to step as close to the microphone as you're able. State your name and address for the record. Thank
Good
you.
evening. I am Connie White. I am a resident at Southwoods. I've been there for 7 years. I am not in favor of the parking signs. I would like to yield my time to Deanna to carry on her lovely report that she's typed up for you guys. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Apologies, gentlemen. So, as I was stating earlier, we do recognize that there's an issue within our community, specifically on one street. However, we are not sure why it was taken to this board, as the issue is just between 2 to 3 homes out of 77 homes in our community. And while our HOA president has denied us meetings and the opportunity to resolve this matter ourselves, we are working as separate community members to resolve this matter. But as I stated earlier, tonight we present to you the door-to-door survey results that have been presented. And as well, Heath Russell will be speaking later, we hope, to provide you measurements that were taken. He is an engineer, and he went through and remeasured all of our streets to ensure that they actually are in compliance. Not only are they in compliance with what was in stone or set in place whenever our development was built, but they actually comply with the ones that were dated June of 2021. Thank you.
Thank you.
Great. Thank you very much. We now invite Jose Martinez to the microphone. Please remember to step as close to the mic as you're able. State your name and address for the record.
Yes, how you doing? My first name is Jose, my last name is Martinez. U.S. Navy, retired. I live at 21313 Foxglove Court. I'm also against the signs. I came home one day from work. All of a sudden, there's a bunch of parking signs all over my neighborhood. I have a small driveway. I have 2 vehicles and 2 trucks, and that's it. That's all I can have. And whenever I have guests or family coming over or anything like that, I mean, there's nowhere they can park. The closest parking spot, I guess, is like close to the base. So I would have to ask them to either park on base or park somewhere else. Me pick them up and bring them back home. This is completely. It was a surprise for me. I retired from the Navy, and I decided to stay here because there was still a lot of stuff that we needed to do on base, and my retired commander asked me to stay behind. I also took a long time to look for a decent neighborhood where I can raise my grandkids and have a puppy or 2, but again, this is probably one of the better neighborhoods that I've ever lived in, and everything seemed to be going well, and then all of a sudden we have a few folks that are taking this issue completely out of hand and basically pushing their own will against us, and completely disregard for everybody else's time and space and everything else. I also wanted to give my time, but I guess she's completely done. So this is all I have to say. This was completely, I was completely caught off guard. I mean, all of a sudden I come home from work and there's a bunch of no parking signs all around our neighborhood, and there was just no need for it. Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you for your service. We now invite Ashley Cardamine to the microphone.
Hi, I'm Ashley Cardamone. I live at 21322 Foxglove Court in Lexington Park. I just wanted to let you guys know that, again, like the other residents, this is a wonderful community. The whole reason I bought my home in this community was because we actually have kids playing in our streets, in our neighborhood, in our yards. They get to interact with each other. Many of my students actually live in our community, and they get to have their friends come over. COVID has been a really rough year on our students, and they have now lost that opportunity to have their friends come to a safe place. And it's really disheartening to see this impacting the youth when they weren't involved. Many of our kids do go and support each other. They'll watch our dogs, our cats, they'll house sit for us. So it's really important that you not just look at the adults in this situation, but really look at the youth that have been involved. One of the other things I wanted to bring up is that when we went to, I've been involved in the HOA meetings since I moved in, and all of a sudden this board came on board when COVID struck, and none of us are really aware how they got voted in. They won't answer any of our questions. We've gone to the actual HOA company. They're getting so frustrated because they can't get answers. We don't have any meetings posted on the website that they actually want to release us from their contract, which then puts us in another situation just because of these no parking signs. The day of the meeting, I was trying to attend the meeting. I got a message from one of the board members that told me it was just for board members to do the vote, not for the community members. Once their meeting started, then I received a message that I could now attend, which I was already on base working my second job, and I couldn't attend that meeting. So it's just that they're not representing what their roles are supposed to be. I reached out to ask for a public meeting just for us to be able to talk, to come up with a solution, because I don't feel like you should ever go to a situation without having a solution at hand. So we actually presented to our board, is there a way to have parking put up front? Is there a way to have only one side parking? Is there something we could have done to resolve the issue? Talking to each other first before coming and having this go this far. She has denied us meetings constantly. We still have not heard back, and the only thing we got was a 20-page document belittling us as the community. We are very community-oriented. We have a lot of educated individuals in our community, and we just wish that you guys take the time to really look at not receiving all that information. And we apologize that you were kind of given that information unjustly, because our community members do want to participate, and we are working to resolve that as a community.
You have nothing to apologize for. You're doing the right thing.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
And Mr. President, if you don't mind, I'd like to say that it's interesting hearing this side of the citizens that are living there. And, you know, I'm not the biggest fan of HOAs in the first place, and it sounds like there's some fraud that is going on. And, you know, at first blush, and I can tell you, I'm not too thrilled about how things were presented from that HOA board to us, even in the other communications. So I can tell this group that if it is found that what these allegations are here, I personally am going to be contacting the Sheriff's Department to look into it as well. You're doing the right thing. No need to apologize. Thank you for bringing this to us. I truly appreciate it.
We'll make everything clear to all the citizens out here. The things you say tonight, you will hear from us again. It goes to our various directors, and they will come back with a solution, and you will hear from us, okay? So even though we're not saying something to you right now, it's part of the forum is to hear from you, citizens, problems out there, and our directors will get this information, and they will be disseminating it to you and what our next solution will be for it. So thank you very much.
Thank you. We'll continue now. We invite Mr. Mark Thomas to the microphone. Please step all the way to the microphone. State your name and address for the record.
Good evening. My name is Mark Thomas. I reside at 21382 Hawkbit Court, Lexington Park, Maryland. Good evening, Commissioners. I'm a resident of Southwoods Estates, just like so many of my fellow residents that you've already heard from tonight. I've lived there for nearly 13 years out of a over 20-year residency in the county. I work on the base. I'm a father, I'm a husband, got 4 young daughters. The oldest is not far from driving, so things like parking, where to park, and cars and that sort of thing are forefront on my mind. And I'm here to voice my opposition to the no parking signs that have been put up in our community. The signs convey an unwelcome attitude at odds with the sense of hospitality that I and many of my fellow residents would like to convey. Prohibiting on-street parking in our neighborhood has made it more difficult to have guests visit us, as there is often no place for them to park. Most of us have room for no more than 2 to 4 cars in our driveway, and for many, that's just enough for the cars associated with the residents of the home. That leaves us in a difficult position of risking financial penalty on our guests in order to enter. Not a situation that I think any of us would invite. In my case, until recently, my wife and I hosted a small Bible study in our home associated with our church, Cornerstone Presbyterian in Town Creek. With the installation of the no parking signs, we have felt less able to do that since most of our guests would be in violation of the ordinance on a weekly basis. I don't intend to move anytime soon. I've probably got another 20 years with working with the Navy here. But I do worry about the ability to sell my home at some point if those signs remain. Were I looking for a home to buy right now, a neighborhood with no parking signs plastered all over the place would not be on my short list of places to look. It conveys a sense of, we don't want you here. One final item I'd like to highlight is that the prohibition of on-street parking makes it very difficult for any type of service vehicles to visit our homes. Whether it's getting appliance services, carpet cleaned or removed, or many of the other tasks needed for adequate home maintenance. The people that provide those services often show up in large vehicles. That's what happens, right? And those vehicles don't fit in our driveways, so they are forced then to park on the street. There's no communal parking area in our neighborhood, and there's no space to put a communal parking area in our neighborhood. Certainly not one that would be convenient to all of the residents. This board was convinced to put up no parking signs with what I believe to be inaccurate and even misleading information, and I am respectfully requesting that the signs be removed. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. The next person we have signed up to speak, or signed up rather, is Pamela Wright, who said that they do not wish to speak. Is that correct? Okay.
That's correct.
Okay, great. All right, then, if we would now invite Mr. Brian Thompson to the microphone, please step forward to the microphone and state your name and address for the record. Thank you.
Hi, my name is Brian Thompson. My address is 21363. And we just moved to this area a year ago. I've been a pastor for over 15 years. Me and my wife moved to this area because it was a slower pace of life, and we actually were planting our own church in this particular area. We have a missional ministry, which is a ministry where it causes us to have, meet with people in our homes. When I found out about the parking sign situation, it kind of disturbed me, because we were already dealing with the COVID issue, but we weren't able to meet for an entire year with our congregation, where we've now converted our mission online to Zoom. We also wanted to do a outreach with our own community, with the Southwood community, to invite them to meet us in our homes. Well, I didn't know anything about this situation until someone knocked on my door. We didn't even know who the homeowners president was. She's never introduced herself to us. We've never had any information on it till someone knocked on our door about this issue. And we're totally against having signs put up where we can't even reach out to our neighbors to even congregate with them. So I'm totally against it. I yield.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir. We next invite Mr. Tony Porter to the microphone. Please remember to step as close to the microphone as you're able, please.
My name is Tony Porter. I live at 46792 Planters Court in Lexington Park, Maryland. I'm going to talk briefly. It's going to sound like I'm talking about myself, but I'm here to talk about the YMCA and the future of that, so I hope that's on the agenda. Okay, the first thing, just to give you a little background of me, literally, I just had my 70th birthday, so I've started my life in North Carolina in a segregated community, and it was very hard for me as an African American, but that's not my topic for tonight. My topic is showing you where I came from to where I ended up. Originally, my father moved to New Jersey because of the problems that were going on in the South as related to my family. And so we started out in Paterson, New Jersey, as I said, and if any of you have ever seen the movie Lean on Me, Eastside High School, I graduated from Eastside High School. Now, one of the things that I want to mention is with all the hardships that I went through, one of the things that helped me out was basically having a community that allowed me to have sports activities, things that allowed me to, first of all, I didn't know how to swim, and I'll get to a little bit more of that in a second, but allowed me to hang out with kids that I could relate to and try to learn with. I also had a lot of good coaches that helped me out to make me start being strong about my mindset, held me accountable. I had a very strong dad who made sure that I did what I was supposed to do or I got that belt, okay? So all I'm saying is, even from a hard, poor background, I had one teacher in my school that motivated me to study. She encouraged me. As a result of that, when I graduated high school, I ended up going to the military, went to the Navy. I was a machinist mate, petty officer. Got a few more racist incidents on my part where I fought that because I was raised not to bend down. On the other hand, what happened out of that is I got to see the captain who got me to where I needed to go. I ended up going to a school for training, and that school allowed me to apply to what's called the NESEP program, Naval Enlisted Scientific Education Program. So this kid who started out in the rural South, segregated, ended up going to Purdue University, and I happened to be wearing my alma mater shirt. It's ironic, I didn't plan to do this, but I'm a graduate of Purdue University, engineering degree. While in the NESEP program, it was in the Department of the Navy, and I'm just checking my time here, it allowed me to transition to the Marine Corps. I took my commission in the Marine Corps, so I'm a Marine officer, and I'm going through flight school. I graduated, I even went to the test pilot school here at Pax River. I'm currently an aeronautical engineer working on base supporting flight tests. But more importantly, with my community, I spend more time trying to reach back to kids who need a hand, kids that were in that same spot that I was in. So I coach great with football. I started out coaching a little pee-wee ball, Raiders, teams like that. I'm also now the head coach for the Great Mills indoor track team, and I'm an assistant coach for the outdoor track team and assistant coach for football. I have helped to write recommendations, I see my time's up, but recommendations for 5 kids that are now in the Naval Academy, 2 of which have graduated, and one of them is actually flying the aircraft that I'm now testing. All I'm saying is, can we please make something for these kids to do besides being in the street? The YMCA is one of the things that helped me in Paterson, and I think it'll help these kids. So that's all I got to say. I know my time's up, but thank you for your time.
Thank you.
Thank you for your remarks and thank you for your service. We now invite Julie Randall to the microphone. Please remember to step as close to the microphone as you're able and state your name and address for the record. Thank you.
I'm going to have problems. I apologize, but my glasses.
It's hard.
I'm going to try it like this. Thank you. Good evening, Commissioners. I am Julie Randall, and my address is 19711 Teddy Way, Lexington Park. I'm here tonight to address the YMCA and its pool that you all are considering for St. Mary's County. You may or may not know that 20 years ago, as president of the Board of Commissioners for St. Mary's County, I was heavily involved in the negotiations that resulted in the pool at Great Mills. At the time, I thought that this pool could meet the needs of our entire community. For general recreational swimming, competitive swim teams, exercise, and therapeutic swimming. I was so proud of that pool, and I still am. However, I must admit to you all that I was mistaken. One pool cannot meet all the swimming needs of a citizenry of greater than 100,000. Indeed, over the last 20 years, I've used the Great Mills Pool for recreation, and our disabled daughter, Mary, tried to use it for therapeutic swimming. We realize that while the pool seems satisfactory for swim teams and recreation, it absolutely was not conducive to therapeutic swimming. The issue is the temperature of the pool. Swim teams need a very cool pool to practice for competitive swimming. Folks who need the pool for therapy, including our disabled citizens, seniors, people recovering from surgery, and other therapeutic uses, need a warmer water pool. The needs of our county population are just too diverse to be met by a single cold water pool. One might say, well, just adjust the pool temperature to accommodate everyone. Unfortunately, that is not a remedy. It takes entirely too long to adjust the temperature from cold water for swim teams to warm water for therapy. You lose too much time trying to cool or heat the pool, and in the meantime, days go by without a usable pool environment for either group. I know personally that this is the case. Over the years, I drove Art Shepard crazy with my requests for a pool warm enough for our Mary to use for therapy. She would go to that pool, shiver the whole time she was in it, and come out with her lips blue. At the same time, Art was being pulled by the needs of swim teams who also needed a reliable temperature conducive to their competitive swim practice. The end result was the disabled citizens finally gave up and the pool was kept cold. Seniors who wanted to use the pool for swim exercise either gave up due to the temperature or came anyway for a class and were uncomfortable. I think all of you believe the county needs and deserves a YMCA, and you've budgeted for capital expenses for several years to make that a reality. The stumbling block now seems to be the warm water pool housed in the YMCA.
Ma'am, your time has expired. Would you please wrap up your remarks?
Yes, I will.
Thank you.
Please make the most of my experience. Don't repeat the mistake I made in not recognizing the totality of swim requirements for our citizens. I implore you to continue to support and sustain our Great Mills Pool while recognizing the needs of other constituents and support the inclusion of a warm water therapy pool within the YMCA. I thank you for your time.
Thank you.
Thank you. The next person we have on the sign-up sheet is Bob Randall, but you have indicated you do not wish to speak. Is that correct? All right. Thank you, sir. We now invite Janice Walthour to the microphone. Please remember to step all the way up to the microphone and state your name and address for the record.
Janice Walthour, 20493 Partons Lane, Lexington Park. And thank you, Commissioners, for this opportunity to participate in the democratic process. On Monday, January 17th, the annual celebration for Martin Luther King's birthday will be held at St. Mary's College of Maryland virtually, starting at 8 a.m. The theme is the urgency of creating the beloved community. Dr. King spoke often about his beloved community, a community in which everyone is cared for absent of poverty, hunger, and hate. And fueled by his faith, he believed that such a community is possible, a community absent of the hostility that creates hate and divisiveness, a community whose citizens are at peace with each other and do not feel the need for symbolically declaring itself a gun sanctuary, knowing that the laws that protect all citizens from gun violence are paramount for safety, a community where bringing an attitude adjuster to a public meeting is not perceived as a threat to a person's safety. Yes, the beloved community is an ideal place to live, but we're all human. Only human. We fall down, but we get up. And we must continually be up to do the work that makes St. Mary's County a beloved community. Some think of the beloved community as something aimed for the future. Dr. King's words were for the present. For him, the human community meeting the basic needs of every person becomes beloved. comprehensive health care, healthy lifestyles, safe streets, affordable housing, nutritious food, strong schools, access to jobs, meaningful employment for our citizens, including youth, are also necessary for the beloved community. And we are continually challenged, but always prompted by good and not evil, to remake our hostility-filled communities into those where justice and love prevail. And as county leaders, I hope each of you have that vision and mission for us. I bring this message of the beloved community to you in support of encouraging you to move forward with the YMCA, an organization that will work in collaboration with all county agencies to meet the many needs of our beloved community. Put in the warm water pool for the health, recreational, and safety needs of our youth and families. How many children or people living on this peninsula know how to swim? And how many have been given affordable access and opportunities to learn? The Y of the Chesapeake is a nonprofit organization whose mission is to put Christian principles into practice through programs that build healthy spirit, mind, and body for all. Why not have your name on the building plaque to show that you forged the way for the first of historical YMCAs in St. Mary's County? A county that is building and working to sustain the beloved community. Please, let's get it done in 2023. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Walthour. We now invite Natasha Dean to the microphone. Please remember to step forward to the microphone and state your name and address for the record.
She had to leave just a moment ago.
Okay, thank you very much. We were informed that Natasha had to leave. We now invite Marcus Drake to the microphone.
Good evening, gentlemen. I'm Marcus Drake. I live at 26301 Old Red Oak Lane in Mechanicsville. And I would first like to express my appreciation for the commissioners for their common sense approach in handling the COVID situation over the last year in reopening our county and allowing the businesses and citizens to exercise their freedoms of choice as to their own health choices and their business's own practices. I would also like to thank Dr. Michaels of St. Mary's MedStar, who commented this morning advocating a common sense approach to handling the crisis, the COVID situation that's currently going on in this country and around the world. To that end, I would also like to comment on a request that Dr. Brewster made in the amount of $500,000 for additional tests to test for COVID. The tests themselves actually effectively do nothing to provide for safety or reduce the number of cases in the county. They only provide added numbers, and the effective outcome for the same, if you have symptoms, whether you're COVID positive or COVID negative, the recommendation is the same. If the symptoms are mild, go home, take care of yourself, isolate. If they're severe enough, go to the hospital. It's common sense. That's all we need. The $500,000 could be far better spent, I feel, in providing for community safety in such areas as law enforcement and providing for replacement of an aging fleet and maintenance of the vehicles that are currently in the fleet, as well as providing for a substantial raise for the officers that would motivate officers not only to stay with the department as opposed to moving to other counties where the pay is better, but it would also encourage new people to sign up and become officers to provide for the safety of this county. We currently have only an average of 6 to 8 officers on duty in the county at any given time for each shift, with an additional 2 state troopers to cover the entire county. This is, in my opinion, unacceptable. For a community of 133,000 people, 6 to 8 officers doesn't adequately cover it. And these are things that I'm hearing from the guys on the ground. I've talked to the deputies, I've listened to their concerns and listened to what they feel they need to help them do an effective job in making this community safe. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you. We now invite Marcia Greenberg to the microphone. Please remember to step all the way forward and state your name and address for the record.
Good evening, Commissioners, and Happy New Year. My name is Marcia Greenberg. I live on Memory Lane in Lexington Park. As someone who values decorum and courtesy, I am here this evening to express my regrets for the disruption of your regular business meeting on November 16th. I say that sincerely, and I regret that Commissioner O'Connor is not here for me to look him straight in the eye as I say that. In fact, optimism was running high that day, November 16th. Commissioner O'Connor, as he's noted publicly, had assured me during a phone conversation in late September that although he had some misgivings about a YMCA, he had made a commitment to it and that he stands by his commitments. Sometime prior to that, Commissioner Morgan told me, "It will happen, but you will have to be patient." Shortly before the holidays, I spoke with Commission President Guy in the BJ's parking lot. At that time, I told him that an interested YMCA donor had asked me whether there was any possibility that mechanisms would be in place in time to contribute in 2021. Commissioner Guy responded that such mechanisms would not yet be established, not by the end of the year. I so advised the prospective donor. And then 5 days before the November 16th meeting, I shared a beautiful, sunny, and warm November 11th and the parade, Veterans Day Parade, chatting amicably with Commissioner Colvin about the prospects for a YMCA. Those communications, along with the steps that you had already taken over the last 2 years, guided the enthusiastic and positive communication of more than 40 supporters on the morning of November 16th. First, we had a poster saying, "Thank you, Commissioners, for a Y," of which a photo was shared with Commissioner O'Connor by text message. We also had signs saying, "Yay for a Y," that were decorated with smiley faces and hearts. When there was no second to Commissioner Hewitt's motion to move the project forward, we were dumbfounded. And let me be clear, my outburst and others' inappropriate comments were regrettable. Full stop. In closing, I hope we can restore our momentum to establish this county's first YMCA, to serve our youth, our families, our seniors, and our businesses. I thank you all very much, sincerely.
Thank you, Ms. Greenberg.
Thank you. We now invite Alonzo Gaskin to the microphone. Please remember to step forward and state your name and address for the record.
Good evening. My name is Alonzo Gaskin. I live at 16957 Three Notch Road, Dameron, Maryland. I stand in support of the YMCA, Young Men's Christian Association at Great Mills, with an inclusive pool. I have been a supporter of this project from its beginning 5 years ago. Over the years, many negative statements have been uttered against the YMCA in Lexington Park. The director of the YMCA Chesapeake, Mr. Gill, has on more than one occasion spoken to members of county to arrest any concerns of duplication between parks and recreation and any other county concerns. The YMCA has over a century of operational experience in developing young men and women to be productive members of their communities that function for the good of all. Any plan that is developed is done by a local board of directors designed to fit the community. The YMCA has a policy of teaching all children up to the 5th grade to swim at no cost. The thought has also been expressed that the YMCA would be in competition with local businesses. I have resided in St. Mary's County my entire life, and I know of not any business that has made developing young people and community their sole focus. The YMCA will need people who are willing to work in the interests of the community, and there have been studies done identifying support from the community for the YMCA. St. Mary's County is a growing county with a rich history, but a rich history will be all we have if we don't provide diverse activities for young families beyond the physical attributes of kicking, throwing, shooting, and batting a spherical object. The meeting on November 2021 was a gut punch from the commissioners, wanting the pool removed from the YMCA. They have been fully aware of all planning that has been done, and the fact is, this is a warm water pool. The YMCA has a century of day-to-day operation, and to remove the pool is akin to inviting people to St. Mary's County and saying, we got rid of the Chesapeake Bay. The pool is integral to the operation of the YMCA. A recent quote says, the world is full of talent, but access to opportunity is not so widely shared. I would hope the commissioners not allow the expenditure of funds be the cause not to provide opportunities for St. Mary's County's children and families. One commissioner recently said he regretted not being on board with the expansion of broadband in the county. Don't let this be another example of regret. I ask that you respect the century of YMCA experience and approve the plan presented to you in November 2021.
Thank you. We now invite Mindy Johnson to the microphone. Please remember to step forward and state your name and address for the record.
Good evening, this is Mindy Johnson. I come from Russell Road in Valley Lee. So I'm here to talk about the YMCA also. I grew up, Mr. Porter, in New Jersey, going to the Asbury Park YMCA. Thank you very much. And your community is wonderful. I've been there for Halloween. It's the best place to get candy. Anyway, so the last meeting, you ended up with the commissioners requesting to update YMCA plans with or without a pool. The thought that the current pools in St. Mary's County are adequate to serve the needs of St. Mary's County. You said it was duplication. I highly disagree with that thought. And I believe that ignoring the lack of adequate swim facilities when constructing a YMCA when the county has the opportunity is short-sighted. A quick rundown of the pools. So Todd, you know I swim every day, right?
Yep.
Excuse me, would you speak into the microphone, please?
Okay, sorry. Anyway, while the staff...
Yeah, Mindy, I repaired your pool.
What?
I repaired your pool.
Yeah. While the staff is doing the best they can with the facility, it is lacking. The pool is not designed for year-round use. The bubble that encloses it in the winter is extremely energy inefficient, grows black mold, and the constant sound of the fans is overwhelming. For therapeutics, the pool is too cold. For competitive use, the pool is too warm and cannot host meets. In the summer, the pool can reach temperatures as high as 95 degrees. That is dangerous to anyone athletic trying to swim at that temperature. Damn. Also, the demand in the summer, where everyone's competing for space. It's absolutely crazy. Parks and Recs actually took over the CSM pool recently. The pool is small. It's 6 lanes. It has no deck space. When kids try to swim a meet, they have to go in a drafty hallway waiting for their events. You can't have recreational swimmers at the same time as having competitive swimmers at the same time. Just not big enough. Then we have St. Mary's College. They won't let us in anymore. They had to cancel the swim meet this summer for the invitational because they won't let us on. So they're unreliable. So the pool's great, just can't use it. The facilities mentioned above currently support all the high school swim teams. They have support 3 to 4 year-round swim teams, the club swimming, which I'm a coach of. We have 5 summer swim teams in the summer league. We have water sports such as aqua aerobics, therapeutics, swim lessons, scuba, Special Olympics, and our recreational users. As you can see, St. Mary's has an active aquatic community which can be easily expanded. I haven't heard what the commissioners plan to do when the Great Mills Pool is down for renovation. It's gonna happen, or needs another bubble. I can't imagine they would continue to Band-Aid the issue of an indoor pool by continuing with the temporary solution of a bubble. And as mentioned above, the remaining pools can't handle the demand. I haven't yet touched on that a decent aquatic facility could be a draw for local business. A meet of 500 swimmers would occupy hotels with swimmers and their families and use our great restaurants and enjoy our local entertainment.
Ma'am, your time has expired. Would you please wrap up your remarks?
So what I basically want to say is that if you don't do it now, you're never going to have the opportunity to do it. Do it right so you don't regret having a bad decision. So that's it.
Thank you, Mindy.
Thank you.
Mindy Johnson is a competitive swimmer all of her life.
But now I coach fish.
And now she coaches.
Thank you. We now invite Laura Carrington to the microphone. Please remember to step all the way forward and state your name and address for the record.
This is short. Good evening. My name is Laura Carrington. I live at 22022 Gloucester Court in Lexington Park. I'll try to be brief because last hearing I attended, I went way over time, and evidently long speeches make me nervous. So I would also like to speak on bringing a YMCA to my community. I've done a little research and uncovered a community desperately overdue for its own center. The YMCA can fill that void. Great Mills and Lexington Park residents present high rates of childhood obesity, diabetes, and other lifestyle diseases. The YMCA facilities provide athletic and recreational amenities, and the building in question should feature an indoor pool. Unemployment and crime have risen in our region. The YMCA provides youth mentoring, access to safe indoor activities in the colder months. The Y also has career services that could be tailored to our region's unique needs, perhaps hosting hiring venues for our many defense contractors and civil services. This would bolster our local economy and empower our small businesses by developing a diversely skilled labor pool. Many students in our area are currently scoring below grade level in mathematics and reading. No doubt, COVID-related difficulties have exacerbated the issue. To the Maryland report card, less than 50% of students in our area are performing proficiently in mathematics and reading. But the YMCA can provide literacy programs and other child care services. Clearly, our region is in need of this community center, and the Y, with its long-standing record of service, would doubtless have a positive impact. So I'm thrilled the commissioners voted unanimously to approve exploratory planning for the Y in May of last year. I hope the board will move forward with the Y and its indoor pool. However, I found that despite repeated requests over the years for giving children in my community something to do to keep them out of trouble, like a community center in the Great Mills, Lexington Park area, priority went to building a very expensive police substation in the area. The reason, to improve safety. But why not the same response to get the YMCA on track for 2023? Why not work together to dispel the myth that the people in this area aren't worth job training and youth mentoring? Why not dispel the myth that we're undisciplined and need more police? That's not necessarily what's been said or meant, but to many that's how the move felt. Additionally, it kind of sounds like there's a hang-up in the planning process. The hang-up seems to be over the indoor warm pool, and I wonder if the reason is displacing the current Great Mills facility. But the YMCA would supply its own staff and perhaps pay for itself.
Your time has expired. Could you please wrap up your remarks?
I've done it again. The tax revenue for the YMCA would pay for itself. and perhaps even replace the revenue lost to the county through rec and parks at the Great Mills Pool. To wrap up my statements, I'd like to say that abandoning this effort altogether sounds a bit villainous. Imagine if every 80s underdog movie ever ended with the youth center closed down because the council didn't want to invest in the neighborhood, or the community center simply abandoned. What if the average Joes lost the dodgeball match and couldn't outbid Globo Gym? It's the TV anti-trope. It makes for a bleak film. It's been a bleak reality for more than a generation of my neighbors. I hope we can work together to make this happen, because my neighbors are worth it simply because they are people. Thank you for your time.
Thank you. We now invite Lisa Carrington to the microphone. Please remember to step all the way forward and state your name and address for the record.
I don't think it's Lisa.
I don't think it's Lisa either. My sincerest apologies. When you come forward, please let me have it.
So,
Leon?
I've been called much worse, so. No problem.
My sincerest apologies. Leon, I need my reading glasses.
So, I don't really need prepared notes. I prepared notes, but I did want to make sure that I spoke from the heart regarding the need for a YMCA in the recommended locale of Lexington Park, Great Mills, with all of the features that you can get, including a warm water pool. I grew up in Chicago. That is still home to me. I'm a fourth generation Chicagoan. I had the good fortune of living in a upper middle class, all black neighborhood with its normal share of poor people. Poor people in Chicago were in the 50s distributed just like anywhere else in the world. We did not have projects. We just had folks that happened to be poor. And because we were a church-going community and our neighbors to the east of us, Jewish synagogue-going community, we took care of our poor. If you read your Bible carefully, you'll note that in the Old Testament, you see a lot of claims that God redeems the poor. Well, he does, but if you look at history, you should note that you don't really want him to do that. You want to do what he told you to do. You redeem the poor. And so I find that you have a grand opportunity in placing the YMCA in that locale. I grew up across the street from a Y, of the type that I speak of, 5-story building. I looked at it last night. I lived at 5023 Indiana, directly across the street, YMCA. What the Y provided to my community, particularly to the poor, is absolutely mind-boggling, as well as to the general community. There were other kids who would have had no opportunity to do much of anything if it were not for that Y. And among those, I don't know if it's appropriate to name drop or not, but I'll tell you, I can name Kevin Porter, the Baltimore Bullets point guard. I can name Maurice Cheeks of DuSable, who played for the Philadelphia 76ers. All players grew up in the Y. That's where they had to play. Where I come from, this is like summertime. We're 10 below. And kids need a place to play. And that's where they played. However, my mother was a junior leaguer. They had their meetings in the YMCA. My sister was a campfire girl. They had their meetings in the YMCA. And I note that the community centers here, non-existent of course, but the community center services are in the library to a great degree, and they do a great job. However, that is not like having a YMCA.
Sir, please wrap up your remarks.
Everybody that the Y brings, you just, I recommend that you get it done and that you include the best services that the Y has to offer. That probably includes a warm water pool for, I guess, older folk. I don't consider myself old, so I'm not ready for that yet, but for those that want it, I think it really should be there. But my real recommendation is that you move forward as quickly as you can on the matter. And I would add more, but I'm running out of time. I will tell you, I am a park and rec coach. This is my 11th or 12th year, and I am in the South, in the Lexington Park area, and I'll just tell you, the need is clear as a bell to me all of these 11 years. We need the facility, and everybody will benefit.
Thank you, and I apologize for mispronouncing your name. Thank you. We now invite to the microphone Carolyn Curtis. Please remember to step all the way forward and state your name and address for the record.
Good evening. My name is Carolyn Curtis. I am a resident, 29849 Charlotte Hall Road, Charlotte Hall, Maryland. I am coming, first of all, to say thank you to the Board of Commissioners for some comments. Yes, I'm going to try. Comments made in your meeting this morning in regard to split zoning for the planned request to change the split zoning located on two properties in Charlotte Hall Road. Your comments helped to bring into focus the fact that this was not necessarily a mistake, as has been put forth by the attorney representing owners of these properties, and also another property I found interesting further down 3 Notch Road. But that you felt it was a complex issue. And I would say it is very much a complex issue. These properties, as you know, face 3 Notch Road, the very, very busy 235. It also faces Charlotte Hall Road, which I would say the entire road should be designated as a historic district. I have reviewed the tax records for the properties on Charlotte Hall Road. And would you believe that 80% of the homes on Charlotte Hall Road meet the definition of historic properties having existed for 50 or more years? While the Charlotte Hall District ends at the Northern Senior Center, there are numerous homes above that which extend all the way up pretty much to the basically where Wentworth is. So rather than looking at developing and having the development go that far to the Charlotte Hall Road, we ought to look at making the entire road a historic district. Other things that I would like to bring up. I'm representing 31 signatories on a petition that my sister and I went door to door to collect in regard to the desire for this type of development. And those 31 people said, no, we do not want this. I would also implore, our understanding from the public hearings that we were at was that there is not a master plan for Charlotte Hall. And I would implore that we move forward with a master plan. Otherwise, we are falling prey to the desires of developers who want to come to the area, develop the area to town center without any care for those who live in that area. Interestingly, when the term neighborhood was discussed, they only looked at the neighborhood of 235 3 Notch Road. Charlotte Hall Road was not even included in the definition of neighborhood. Yet we have residents who have owned property for over 100 years in that area. So I think our interests should be paramount rather than the interest of those who want to come, have absolutely no care about St. Mary's County or the area.
Ma'am, your time has expired. Please wrap up your remarks.
Yes. So I would ask for the two addresses that are being considered for land use, for changing that zoning, that be denied. I appreciate the fact that you have a public hearing scheduled for February 1st, 6:30 p.m. We will be returning. Thank you so very much.
Thank you.
Thank you. The next person that signed up is Dorothy Waters, who has indicated that she do not want to speak. Is that correct? All right, thank you. The next person we have signed up to speak is Joan Waters. Please approach the microphone, state your name and address for the record, and if you would, step forward into the microphone to be clearly heard. Thank you.
Good evening. My name is Joan Curtis Waters. You just heard from my sister, Carolyn Curtis. We're actually third-generation family that have resided on Charlotte Hall Road. And the two properties that the rezoning application is about sits directly across from where we live. I actually live in between two blind curves. There have been fatal accidents on the road. And so our opposition basically is about safety. Over the last few years, without major development, even on the Charlotte Hall Road side, the traffic has increased tremendously. It's even dangerous to walk across to your mailbox. We have to stop and listen to make sure there's no traffic coming. We also understand that the 29871 2-acre parcel, which is directly across from me, there is planned development for apartment units there. So I can imagine increased traffic going in and out of there as well. Plus, with the Royal Farms that's proposed for the northern end of Charlotte Hall Road, we just know that it will increase traffic. As it stands, if there are incidents on 235, the main highway, traffic is detoured, and we can tell. We don't even have to hear an ambulance. We don't have to hear a crash. We just see tremendous increase in traffic coming through our road. As you know, the developers, the owners, the applicants contend that it was a mistake. The mixed-use zoning that is currently on those properties was a mistake. Well, I think that's an insult to the planners of 2010 or whenever the comprehensive plan was done. We firmly believe that it was very intentional, and that way it would preserve residential nature of that property with any commercial development facing 235. So we don't believe that was a mistake. As my sister pointed out, how do you define neighborhood? To residents, neighborhood is community. To those who want to develop property, neighborhood is commercial development. And so we are disappointed that the Planning Commission has approved the rezoning. And of course, February 1st is your public hearing for one of the parcels. Interestingly, October 25th, the applications were scheduled for public hearing before the Planning Commission. And we get there, I think they were surprised to see that anyone might come to oppose. So after the 2-acre parcel was heard, the applicants requested a continuance, which is now why there will be 2 public hearings before you.
Ma'am, your time has expired. Would you please wrap up your remarks?
Yes. The last thing, they also portray us as being against development. We're not against development. We're only against progress, so-called progress that disrupts the quiet and peaceful quality of life in Charlotte Hall and any other neighborhood. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. The next person we have signed up is Terry Branch. Did you wish to make remarks? Sure. Great, thank you. Please approach the microphone, speak into the microphone, and state your name and address for the record. Thank you.
Good evening. My name is Terry Branch. I reside at 22208 Hanover Drive in Leonardtown, Maryland. I am here by the way of BRAC from Pennsylvania to the state of Maryland. I have come here and I have dedicated my personal time to taking on youth within the county. I'm president of one group, vice president of another, treasurer of another, youth advisor of another. I support the youth. I also support the YMCA, which I also am a member or grew up in the YMCA for Girl Scouts and other activities which took place in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. So I stand today in which I was not going to say anything to try to convince you to move forward with the YMCA for the youth to give them something to do instead of being on southernmaryland.com. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. We now invite Christina Vale to the microphone. Please step forward all the way to the microphone and state your name and address for the record.
Hi, my name is Christina Val Perez. I reside at 44636 Birchway, California, Maryland, 20619. I'm an Air Force veteran, married to a retired Navy veteran, and have lived in St. Mary's County for over 6 years. I'm here to address the health resources being given to our community and our veterans' inability to stay healthy in their local community of 133,000 members. I request the St. Mary's County Commissioners reconsider the quantity of at-home test kits being offered to the local community and acquire the full amount requested by Dr. Brewster. Almost every day, we get an email from Evergreen Elementary, our daughter's school, and Leonardtown High, our son's school, informing of a notification of potential exposure. As a guardian, you cannot make an educated decision to keep a child quarantined without an at-home COVID test. And it can be anything such as a cold or flu.
Excuse me, would you speak into the microphone? Thank you.
Such as a cold or flu. Having test kits should lower transmission, and the continuation of the lack of supply kits and community testing resources is directly affecting our children's ability to be safe and stay healthy. A guardian should be given the ability to keep their dependents safe, and by supplying test kits for home use, that can be done. I believe that the commissioners should use the resources given specifically for COVID use. I wanted to include, after another member's comments, that I am saddened that our police and rescue forces are being obligated to come ask for health funding being redistributed because of a lack of funds and proper equipment being provided by St. Mary's County, and that should be addressed specifically. COVID testing is the first line of defense towards prevention. I was also saddened to hear that the commissioners only approved a budget of $250,000 when Dr. Brewster, a health official appointed by my county, requested $500,000. I was in line on Saturday, got there, I'd say like 2:20. I left the line at 2:47. Test kits were gone by 3 p.m. We need them. I was able to keep my son home last week. He was tested positive Monday, kept him home the week, tested negative last night. I know I didn't give it to anybody else, and that's all we're trying to do here is keep all of the community safe. Sorry, I got off track. I agree with our YMCA having 2 pools. Personally, I can benefit from therapy for back and neck issues that I received while I was deployed. Therapy in a warm water pool will enhance my quality of life and the other veterans, children, and community members. Commissioners, thank you for your time.
Thank you very much. We now invite Jose Perez to the microphone. You don't want to speak? All right, thank you, sir. Sharon, do we have anyone else signed up at this time? Okay, thank you. Thank you so much. Great, thank you very much. Mr. Thomas? Yes, would you please come to the microphone? And I don't have my reading glasses, so I couldn't quite make out your first name, so I'm not going to call you Lisa. All right, thank you, sir. If you would approach the microphone and state your name and address for the record and speak into the microphone. Thank you, sir.
Yes, good evening, sir. My name is Ignatius Thomas. I reside at 29843 Charlotte Hall Road, and I'm here to voice my concerns regarding the introduction or building of a apartment building in our front yard, it will be. I live on the hill, which is kind of like the highest place in St. Mary's. I've been there since I was born. Matter of fact, I was born across the street from where my cousin lives. My granddaddy raised peanuts, all kinds of cattle, chickens, turkeys, pigs, you name him, he had it out there. He was a farmer. He was a teacher. And he was a granddad. Matter of fact, sometimes he was even closer than my dad. So I learned a lot about him. So I asked the Planning Commission to consider not changing things this, because you kind of have some of us older ones who want to hold things in place the way we used to know, not negating or disregarding progress. But again, I say to you, sir, consider carefully the residents that live there. As my cousin pointed out, 30-some of the residents have already signed a petition in that regard. We were trying not to cause the shift in the zoning, but be more concerned about the shifting in the activity and holding that traffic back and holding the change to eliminate our home as a historic area. Please give us careful consideration, because progress sometimes disregards the desire of those that have been living there and continue to live there with some of our children, grandchildren, or great-grandchildren in our case. Please don't let the system, don't let time be washed away by the desires of the developers. I asked for that concern before, but I know how progress has a way of pushing the old away in order to make room for the new. Thank you, sirs.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Sir, thank you for your remarks. We now invite Charles Carrington to the microphone. Please come forward, step up to the microphone, and state your name and address for the record.
I know your pain.
Right on.
I got it.
Thank you. Thank you. You got it.
Good evening. My neighbors have spoken on many of the points. My name is Charles Carrington. I live at 2202 Gloucester Court in Lexington Park, Maryland. My neighbors here have spoken on many of the points that are on my mind and will continue to do so after me, so I won't address all of them. A community is only as strong as its least privileged members. Furthermore, the health of a community is determined by how well it takes care of its poor. And God blesses a community according to the same litness, as respecting the second commandment greatly honors him. Lexington Park is not purely a poor community, but there is enough lack, and it is certainly underserved. Underserved communities typically get mischaracterized as dangerous places and hoods, which is insane and insulting. It's just a lazy attempt to try and ignore the actual issue: people under pressure. People under pressure behave like people under pressure. Poor, underserved communities just suffer from the burdens of boredom and lack of opportunity. What do kids do when they're bored? They get in trouble. What are adults but bigger kids who now have to pay bills and maybe look after smaller kids? Reflections of themselves. YMCAs and rec centers are on the list of necessities for a civilized community. Properly managed and maintained, rec centers remedy boredom and opportunity holes by providing constructive things for people to do. For instance, central locations to work off some steam, places to healthily socialize, and there are many other things that they do, but probably the most profound to me is the fact that having good community amenities instills in people the idea that they should have such things. They are worthy, they do deserve it. No, they're not less of a person who's perhaps financially better off than them. They have as much an equal right to a decent life as anybody. This past Christmas, I was talking with some of my closest friends, and I explained that I'd been disturbed by the Spirit as he was drawing my attention to something, and it was this. Each Christmas, I give myself a blank check. I will spend any amount of money on gifts for friends and family. Now, I'm an engineer, and all of my friends are engineers, accountants, and lawyers. We don't need much. We don't need anything. So why do we, without second thought, spend so much money on each other at Christmas time? But we'll get a little nervous when to cut a big check for folks who actually need some help. That hit me really hard. And as I looked deeper, I recognized this is generally how we as Americans have been foolishly dealing with one another. Rather, we should be striving to build up those who have less, particularly less opportunity. That's the great divider anyway. Attend to the fatherless and the widow. That is what the Lord said true religion actually is. He said, if you want to honor me, do that thing. Take care of the poor. Build this YMCA. Build two, perhaps. The people need it.
Sir, your time has expired. Would you please wrap up your remarks?
Yes, ma'am. My final statements.
Thank you.
Build this YMCA, please. The people do need it, and we will all be that much better if we get this done. Thank you for your time.
Thank you. We now invite Melissa Willie to the microphone.
I got you. Thank you. Thanks. My name is Melissa Willie. I live at 21514 Rummager Court, Lexington Park, Maryland, 20653. I was not going to speak tonight, but hearing all of the conversations, I thought, well, you know what? I really do have something I could bring to you guys. Side note, totally support the YMCA. She is actually going to speak after me, if that's okay with you all, on that particular issue. But what I'm coming to you is my daughter, Jalen, is buried at Charles Memorial Gardens. When I picked that particular spot for her, not only was it generously donated to us by the previous owner, not the owner now, previous owner, but it's a beautiful cemetery, or it was. When you go into the cemetery before the owner now, you would see people have decorated their person's spots. They would put flowers down, they would put stone down, they would personalize that spot for that particular person. This new owner came in, I want to say Christmas of 2019 or just after, maybe 2020, I'm not really sure. And one of the first things he did was cleared out all the Christmas stuff and put it in a parking lot. And if you've ever lost someone, most people have, and you treasure that part of being able to put stuff for your grandparents, parents, child, siblings, you are disgusted by that behavior. So I got a group of people together and I fought to talk to the new owner. I went to the cemetery a couple times intentionally to talk to this man. And he blew me off. He blew groups of people off. I've done several newspaper articles on this. The most recent thing that I am finding incredibly disturbing is I saw a post on Facebook saying the cemetery was closed, and I was like, what? What do you mean closed? How do you close the cemetery? And the bridge that when you drive, if you've ever been there, when you drive in, there's a bridge over a stream, had a dip in it. And it continuously got worse over the last, Jalen has been gone almost 4 years. And it has continuously gotten worse. And I drive a 15-passenger van, and I think, good God, if I drive my van over this hole and the bridge cracks, my van gets stuck, what am I going to do? So the solution to this was they put steel plates, 4 of them, over this hole, but not flat. There's several inches of gap on several corners. And again, the concern is my tire's popping, somebody else's tires popping.
I am so sorry to interrupt you, but your time has expired. Could you please wrap up? Thank you. And we still have a full phone bank of calls, so we have a lot of people. Thank you.
I just wanted to bring that to your attention. I have pictures that I could present to you all after the meeting if that's something that you're interested in. But can Addison have a chance to speak on the YMCA?
Fine by me.
Great. Please state your full name and address for the record, Addison.
Hi, my name is Addison. I live at 21514 Romandere Court. I am a competitive swimmer for Great Mills Aquatic Club and the Great Mills High School swim team. Mindy is my coach for the club team. This coming summer will be 10 years that I've been swimming. I have several siblings who swim, and I use the pool every day, sometimes 2 times a day between Great Mills and the high school team. I volunteer for the special needs people of our community. Our pool at Great Mills cannot host meets, which then requires us to have to travel to Virginia or anywhere else. That causes cost on families and our team, which can get expensive for traveling and having to stay out of state. Why not have out-of-state teams come to our community for meets and use our community to stay in and eat at great restaurants that are here? I see a huge need for a YMCA and am requesting you revisit the issue for our community and the children here. Thank you.
Thank you. Sharon, do we have anyone else signed up to speak? We do not. All right. Commissioners, we have callers on the line, so we're going to go to the phones now. Good evening, and thank you for calling in to participate in the Commissioners of St. Mary's County Public Forum. You have 3 minutes to address the commissioners. Please state your name and address for the record, and I'll let you know when your time has expired. You may begin your remarks now.
Good evening, Commissioners. This is Tanya Parker, and I live at 21414 Mannon Way in Lexington Park, Maryland. Excuse me. I've owned my home there almost 18 years now, and I live in the Westbury Community Subdivision. Westbury has a total of 495 homes. We are a blended community of single-family and townhomes that are both on private and many county roads, sandwiched between Great Mills Road and crossing up over to Peg Road. The first thing I wanted to say is please understand how much I greatly appreciate the Commission and the St. Mary's County government taking action on the sidewalks. They were not ADA compliant, and Great Mills Trading Post is the contractor that's out there right now, and they're doing a fantastic job making sure that those sidewalks are ADA compliant. This is a high foot traffic area where many of our community members are elderly or, like myself, have some mobility issues, and we do greatly appreciate all these improvements that have been made. The second thing I wanted to bring to your attention is that I am currently circulating an electronic petition. I've shared that with the Commission members via email right before this meeting. It currently has over 130, actually has 138 signatures, and interest and momentum is continuing. I've posted a picture on that site that shows an aerial view of the area of concern. The area that we have extreme concerns about is the intersection of Westbury Boulevard and Peg Road. We have concerns of excess speeding, accidents, and this occurs frequently in this area. Many of the area's homes that live close in that proximity have heard the accidents, come out to offer aid and assistance. Some of these have been very bad accidents. Most recently, the county did a speed study, and the fastest speed recorded was 96 miles per hour. If you're not aware, the posted speed limit on this road is 40. So more than double the speed was clocked on that road. It's no wonder we have so many accidents in the area. I myself travel frequently FDR Boulevard. It's beautiful. The roundabouts are in that area. They're very effective. They manage speed, and they keep the flow of traffic moving. We would like your consideration during the budget cycle and capital improvement and planning to please consider this area of Peg Road and Westbury Boulevard. Not only do we have a petition, we have a lot of community members that have young families. These are people pushing strollers and have children that are crossing that road to get to our community clubhouse. There's a pool there, right on that corner, that same area.
Ma'am, your time has expired. Please wrap up your remarks.
Okay. Yep, thank you. As a brief reminder, the county did post some pedestrian signs in the middle of that area, and within a week, it was plowed down. Imagine if that had been a child. Thank you for your time and consideration, and we do hope to see some budget activity and planning for that area of Peg Road and Westbury Boulevard. Thank you, Commissioners, for your time.
Thank you very much for your remarks. Good evening, and thank you for calling in to the Commissioners of St. Mary's County Public Forum. You have 3 minutes to address the commissioners, and I will let you know when your time has expired. Please state your name and address for the record, and you may begin your remarks now.
I'm Elyn Davis, 20832 Waterside Drive, Leonardtown, Maryland. I commend the commissioners and St. Mary's County Attorney, Mr. Weisskopf, for the recent decision requiring Airbnbs to pay the same commercial tax as motels and hotels, acknowledging that the worldwide $38 billion plus Airbnb organization and its franchises belong squarely in the commercial category. I trust information will be forthcoming regarding how exactly this tax will be enforced and whether it will be retroactive. Now the commissioners must take the next step and enforce established county setbacks which protect vulnerable vintage communities from commercial encroachment. The Airbnb Sandy Beach Motel is 15 feet from my door. A frightening incident occurred December 26, 2021. At approximately 10 p.m., I observed the fire pit in the yard of the motel next door had been left unattended. The wind was blowing the flaming embers onto my property. I immediately called the absent property manager, who is not the property owner, who also does not reside on the premises. She promised to call her motel guests and advise them of the situation. At 11:30 p.m., I observed the fire pit still burning unattended. I once again called the property manager, who said she'd called her motel guests after my first phone call, and they told her the fire was out. She made another call to them, and the fire subsequently was put out. I sent the property manager a follow-up email insisting that the fire pit had to go. Within 2 days, the fire pit had been restocked with new logs awaiting the next match. My neighborhood is remote enough from the nearest fire department that help would arrive too late to be able to salvage anything. Mine is a neighborhood of older houses. Many have never been updated, renovated, or rewired. Living in such close proximity to this commercial motel, I am at the mercy of irresponsible transients who, as evidenced by this fire pit issue, pose a danger to my property and to the entire neighborhood. There is never a responsible authority on the premises when the motel is rented. The motel next door is essentially an abandoned house through which hundreds of transients have passed since operations began almost 3 years ago. Commissioners, it is imperative that you act to protect taxpaying citizens like myself from commercial endeavors operating so closely to private residences. The fire pit incident is just one example of the danger an unowner-occupied house used for commercial purposes can pose in a residential neighborhood. Thank you.
Thank you for your remarks. Good evening, and thank you for calling in to participate in the Commissioners of St. Mary's County Public Forum. You have 3 minutes to address the Commissioners, and I will let you know when your time has expired. Please state your name and address for the record, and you may begin your remarks now.
Hi, sorry, my name is Heath Russell. I live at 21346 Foxglove Court in Lexington Park, Maryland. I'm here to speak on behalf of the no parking issue. Some of the other residents presented some documents to the commissioners where I used the Department of Public Works and Transportation's guidelines to go out and measure our streets, because Ms. Dietrich said they did not meet the requirement of the streets. And if you look at page 2 of it, it shows a drawing of what the road should look like. And the travel width goes from the vertical face of the curb, which we don't have these type D curves. We have a type F, which is further on. It's a sloping curve. It's a movement curve. And the travel width includes the gutter part of it to the center. And when I went out and measured, I put a map in of each street. We have 8 streets in our community, and every one of the streets, including the asphalt and the gutter, met the requirements of the Department of Public Works Transportation documents. Hopefully you take into consideration, I know all my other residents of our community have already spoken about the issues involved with that. But thank you for your consideration, and I yield the rest of my time for anybody else who wants to speak.
Thank you for your remarks. Good evening. Thank you for calling in to participate in the Commissioners of St. Mary's County Public Forum. You have 3 minutes to address the Commissioners, and I will let you know when your time has expired. Please speak clearly into the phone and state your name and address for the record. You may begin your remarks now.
Good evening, Commissioners. This is Caroline King. Address is 23561 Lily Flora Drive in California, Maryland. I just wanted to touch on 3 things tonight. First is regarding Wildwood. I've been asking the Public Works and Transportation for several years for a crosswalk from Wildwood Boulevard across 235 to the Oakcrest Drive development where Aldi is. It's something that's widely desired by the residents of Wildwood. There's been a lot of development around the community with the Harris Teeter, the airport expansion, and what could be happening with the Innovation District. And most of that development is welcome, but I think we should be making it safe and easy for pedestrians and bikers in Wildwood to access these amenities. And right now, there's no safe way to cross 235 to get to the Aldi, the movie theater, and whatever else is going in the front of that development. I have an adolescent son who loves to ride his bike with his buddies to activities, and he cannot safely cross there to get to the theater. My husband and I would love to bike and get groceries at the Aldi, but we cannot do that right now. So I would just ask that you please look into that crosswalk. Second, I want to revisit the redistricting board. While we didn't get the representation on the board that some of us asked for, I do think the result was a fair map. And that is despite the inappropriate and frankly disturbing actions of the board chair at the December 7th meeting. I want to thank David Weiskopf and board members Matt Bergen and Patricia Richardson for standing up for him. I think I and many others appreciate their efforts. Finally, I'd like to ask that you please listen to and heed the advice of your county health officer with regard to masking requirements and any other public health measures. I've heard a lot of talk about personal choice, but unfortunately, most people are choosing to ignore the recommendations, and that is hurting all of us. So that's all I have tonight. Thank you for your time.
Thank you for your remarks. Good evening. Thank you for calling in to participate in the Commissioners of St. Mary's County Public Forum. You have 3 minutes to address the Commissioners, and I will let you know when your time has expired. Please state your name and address for the record. You may begin your remarks now.
Hi, my name is Margaret Forrest. I live at 23835 Spieth Road in Leonardtown, Maryland. Hi.
You may want to turn your television down, please. We can hear the echo.
Okay. I'm calling in support. and hope that the county commissioners will put that into the fiscal year 2023 budget. And I'd like to reiterate the comments of Ms. Randall, Ms. Walkbauer, Ms. Greenberg, Mr. Gaston, Ms. Johnson, and all three of the Carringtons, and the last two people who spoke in support of the YMCA, because it is indeed a very valuable community facility. Thank you for your time.
Thank you very much for your remarks. Good evening. Thank you for calling in to participate in the Commissioners of St. Mary's County Public Forum. You have 3 minutes to address the commissioners. I will let you know when your time has expired. Please state your name and address for the record. Good evening. You may begin your remarks now.
Good evening. It's Brandon Russell. My address is 22291 Meadow Lane, Leonardtown. I'm sorry I can't be there in person tonight, but I'm glad that we're continuing this call-in option and thankful for it. Last year, did we see the best that local government has to offer? The community watched a budget process unfold, which led to an over 3-hour-long public forum. Why? Because this community recognized the doublespeak and empty promises they heard about funding public safety, emergency services, and education. These were your supposed funding priorities, but the public didn't recognize that during their comments. In fact, they stated quite the opposite. That night was a community movement to fund community priorities. Who was standing in the way? You, the St. Mary's County Commissioners. Redistricting occurred locally, controlled totally by the Republican Party. Anytime a mention was made of the lack of bipartisan involvement, the answer was simple. Nothing to see here. Look at what the gerrymandering Democrats in Annapolis are doing instead. Does Annapolis bear responsibility for selecting a totally partisan local redistricting board whose chair tried to wrest control of the process while attempting to delegitimize public concerns? No, that was you, the St. Mary's County Commissioners. Eager and hopeful residents pushed for a community center, a project that's had local support for years now. The combined value of time, studies, and money spent on this effort would likely equal the down payment on this much-needed community resource and then some. Community members have encouraged and thanked county leadership. They've even begged. But interrupt one meeting and what happens? Residents are told to be nice and called an embarrassing lawless mob that needs its attitude adjusted. Who would do something like that? You, the St. Mary's County Commissioners. As instant payback, Commissioner O'Connor vowed to never vote for that project again. Later, you all laughed while Commissioner President Guy waved the attitude-adjusting wooden hammer. If my message tonight sounds harsh, it's because I'm not being judicious with my words. I'm being intentional, and I'm following your example. Not everything is about political party or ideology. There are good people who are calling your attention to problems, and they have rightfully felt ignored. That neglect is a common cause that unites folks across the political spectrum, and it should, because community is what matters on the local level. I hope you will welcome more of that in this new year as the community raises its voice. Thank you.
Thank you for your remarks. Good evening. Thank you for calling in to participate in the Commissioners of St. Mary's County Public Forum. You are allotted 3 minutes to speak to the commissioners, and I will let you know when your time has expired. Please speak clearly into your phone and state your name and address for the record. Good evening. You may begin your remarks now.
Hello, my name is Michelle Farr-Smith. My address is 23054 Thornberry Drive, Hollywood, Maryland, and I'm calling in to send my support for the building of the new YMCA. Thank you.
Thank you for your remarks. Good evening, and thank you for calling in to participate in the Commissioners of St. Mary's County Public Forum. You have 3 minutes to address the commissioners, and I will let you know when your time has expired. Please speak clearly into your phone and state your name and address for the record. Good evening. You may begin your remarks now.
Hi, I support the YMCA. My name is Virginia Young, number 301-672-2469. Address is 26450 Green Natch Road, Mechanicsville, Maryland, 20659.
Great. Thank you for your remarks. Good evening, and thank you for calling in to speak to the Commissioners of St. Mary's County Public Forum. You have 3 minutes to address the Commissioners, and I will let you know when your time has expired. Please speak clearly into your phone and state your name and address for the record. Good evening. You may begin your remarks now.
Hello, my name is Monica Bisco. I'm calling about the YMCA. Yes, we do need that for the kids. I drive a school bus, and I know some of those kids on there definitely need this program. Thank you.
Thank you for calling in to participate in the Commissioners of the St. Mary's County Public Forum.
Hi, Gabby. This is Elisa Costas. I'm calling to see if we have any more callers on our teleconference line for the Commissioners Public Forum tonight.
We do not.
Thank you, Gabby. Commissioners, we have no one else on our teleconference line. We have no one else signed up to speak at this time. Would you like to, yes, please address the go to the microphone and give us your full name and address for the record and speak into the mic. Thank you.
Commissioners, my name is Kimberly Short. I am the HOA president of the Southwoods Estates Homeowners Association. Much has been stated here in this meeting. I was not aware of this meeting or of the participants that would be speaking, so I have rushed up here. I got out of bed once I was notified. What I would like to state is that as the HOA president, I have conducted 3 meetings in the 3 years that I have been living in Southwoods Estates. As the president, in conducting those meetings, each meeting was conducted the exact same way. Notice was given out to all residents. In that 3 years, 3 actions took place. We petitioned and requested to have no parking along Baywoods Drive because of the overflow of parking from the townhome community. No big display. We've had lights put up, which had a nominal cost. No big display. We petitioned for the no on-street parking because we have identified safety issues, accessibility issues. We identified in your own guidelines that our roadways are not wide enough to allow for safe on-street parking. I understand the frustration of the individuals here. However, to come here and falsely represent and say that we didn't do our due diligence is a falsehood. We did our due diligence. They chose not to participate. Just because they didn't participate does not mean that they should not have some level of support and recourse. However, as an HOA president, we do have other options. We have a vacant lot in the community that could possibly be used for overflow. That is on our upcoming agenda. We do have a meeting scheduled, contrary to statements that were made here. We have a meeting scheduled for April 6th, I believe, at 6:30 that they may want to note, since everyone is saying that they are not being made aware of these meetings. I just want to make sure I'm giving the correct date and time. Yes, April 6th at 6:30. So again, I am here to state that we followed every process. Initially, the commissioners are aware that it was for one street because we have a major offender here in this courtroom who currently has a peace order against her because of the major offenses of blocking traffic, parking at the end of driveways. This is a major issue. Again, I understand the concerns, but we need to find solutions, not pointing fingers, not misrepresenting, and not ignoring the documents that the commissioners themselves have published. Mr. Dietrich stood here, stated that he had come out. He is fully aware of the issues. He came out and measured. Based on your guidelines, photos were presented showing you it is impossible to pass, impossible to see when there are vehicles on the streets. No false information was provided, but we do need to find some solutions, but on-street parking is not the solution. Thank you.
Thank you. Is there anyone else who wishes to speak that has not yet signed up? Please step to the microphone, give your full name and address for the record. You have 3 minutes. Thank you.
Hi, my name is John Stacy. I'm the former vice president of the Southwoods Estates HOA. I previously lived there up until November 10th of this past year. I currently live at 25855 Rickey Drive in Hollywood, Maryland, and parking is one of the reasons that I moved out of there. Even with the on-street parking, it took us over 6 months of communicating with the commissioners here and Mr. Dietrich, and we followed all the rules and regulations. We pulled the ordinances. We reviewed it. One of the ordinances requiring on-street parking specifically states you must have sidewalks on both sides of the street. That development does not. It was even asked during one of the previous commissioners' meetings that why was on-street parking allowed whenever it got developed in the first place, and Mr. Dietrich said it was an oversight by previous personnel. It never should have had on-street parking from day one. It is an issue, and the community is suffering for it for people that have been used to be able to park on street from day one. But now it's a safety issue. The safety issue was brought up to you all as commissioners. You reviewed it, you reviewed all the evidence, and you are starting to enforce on-street parking. Thank you.
Thank you. Is there anyone else? Thank you, everyone, for your remarks. Commissioners, Commissioner President Guy, that concludes your public forum this evening.
Thank you, Ms. Cassis. We want to thank all of you who attended in person and those of you who called in tonight. We appreciate your input. It is an important part of our deliberations and decision-making every year. You can be assured that each of your concerns will be addressed, and you will be contacted by us or one of our staff for follow-up information. We will now close the public forum. Thank you all very much for attending.